New videos every day.
Before we start this video, we're going to play a little game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a phrase. And what I'd like you to do is write in the comment box the first 3 things that pop into your mind. It's very important that you leave a comment because it's going to illustrate a point in this video. Okay, you ready? Mental health. What are the first 3 things that pop in your mind when I say mental health? Okay, so leave a comment and then watch the rest of the video. So let me guess some of these comments that people have left. Practitioners, psychiatrists, psychologists, or the treatments, antidepressants, electroshock therapy, or disorders, ADHD, depression, bipolar. Now, the point I want to make here is that these terms have nothing to do with mental health. They have to do with mental disorders or the treatment thereof. So let me read you this. This is from Abraham Maslow, a psychologist, and it says, "The science of psychology has been far more successful on the negative than on the positive side. It has revealed to us much about man's shortcomings, his illness, his sins, but little about his potentialities, his virtues, his achievable aspirations, or his psychological health. It is as if psychology had voluntarily restricted itself to only half its rightful jurisdiction. We must find out what psychology might be if it were to free itself from the stultifying effects of limited, pessimistic, and stingy preoccupations with the human nature." Psychology and the mental health field tend to concentrate on the negative. They emphasize the study of disorders and the treatment of them, as opposed to focusing on self-improvement, on increasing intelligence, or building character. So with psychologists' total emphasis on the negative aspect of the human psyche, Maslow got completely fed up. And he started to do something no one had thought to do. He started to study the most stable people he could find. Instead of studying the schizophrenic, he started to study the most creative, the most well-adjusted, and the happiest people he could find. So this is what Maslow said. If we want to answer the question, how tall can the human species grow? Then obviously, it is well to pick out the ones who are already tallest and study them. If we want to know how fast a human being can run, then it is no use to average out the speed of the populace. It is far better to collect Olympic gold medal winners and see how well they can do. If we want to know the possibilities for spiritual growth, value growth, or moral development in human beings, then I maintain that we can learn most by studying our moral, ethical, and saintly people." So some of the people that Maslow studied were people that he knew. But some of the people that he studied were historical figures, like Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Albert Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, and William James, to name a few. So what Maslow did was he made a list of these qualities and characteristics that these special people had. Now, if you want to know these qualities and characteristics, you're going to have to subscribe because I'm not going to list them right now. I'm going to do a video on them later. So you're going to have to subscribe. But in essence, it's a description of what mental health really is. This book is called The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and it's published by the American Psychiatric Association. And it's about 950 pages long. And there are hundreds of mental disorders. Now, the freaky thing about it is that nowhere in this book is there a definition for mental health. There's just disorders. Nowhere in this book is there a definition for mental health. So we call it a mental health system. But the system isn't designed to create mental health. It's designed to treat disorders. So really, it's a mental disorder system. After all, how many mentally healthy people do you see in the mental health system? It's not full of people that are mentally healthy. It's full of people that are labeled with mental disorders. Have you ever heard of the term wellness? Well, what's the difference between the term health as it's used in healthcare and the term wellness? Well, conventional medicine deals exclusively with disease, and they use the term healthcare. So alternative medicine professionals had to disassociate themselves with the disease care, and they invented the use of the term wellness. Conventional healthcare system in America exclusively deals with injuries and disease. It's not a healthcare system. It's a disease care system. And you don't go to a doctor to become physically fit. You see one when you're sick. You see, if you want to become physically fit, you see a nutritionist or you see a fitness trainer. You don't see a doctor. Nowhere in psychiatry is it clearly defined of what a mentally healthy person looks like. So this brings up a good point. How do you create a mentally healthy person if you don't have a clear idea of what a mentally healthy person looks like? Maybe you're thinking that mental health is the absence of psychiatric symptoms. Well, that's just not true, because there's more to health than the mere absence of disease. Here's an example. You have two people. You have a man who's 40 years old, he's overweight, and he smokes. And then you have an Olympic athlete who just won 3 gold medals. Now, neither one of them have symptoms of disease, and neither one of them is seeing a doctor. But it's obvious that the athlete is much more healthy than the smoker who's overweight. So this applies to mental health as well. Just because someone is not experiencing psychiatric symptoms, it doesn't mean that they are at their optimum mental health. Another way to look at this is that you don't go to a psychiatrist to become happy. You go to a psychiatrist if you need to treat a depression. There is a big difference between the absence of depression and achieving true happiness. After all, there are a lot of unhappy people in the world that don't have clinical depression. But in essence, in America, we don't have a mental health system. We have a mental disorder system. In my opinion, one of the reasons why people don't graduate out of the mental health system and become cured is because in psychology and in psychiatry, they don't have a clear picture of what mental health even is. So in a future video, we'll be talking about satanic ritual abuse. Do satanic cults really sexually abuse underage girls? And in another video, I'll be talking about tolerance and intolerance. What exactly does tolerance mean? And is sometimes intolerance a good thing? Okay, so there's my video. Thank you for watching. And I really appreciate the comments. And I love to look them over and read them. So thank you for that. And I really appreciate the people that take the time to rate the video, because not everyone does that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
There are over 350 videos on our channel, and I doubt you've seen them all. And the topics range from weight loss, nutrition, sexual health, all the way to psychology and mind control, and anywhere in between. And I think if you check them out, you're going to find some really interesting stuff.